Welcome to another episode of the Caregiver and Spoonie blog, where I talk about my stories and so you guys can understand why I started the podcast. Because I wanted to let you know pretty much everything that happened to me and everything that you might be, and probably you going through something similar. So, and real quick here, real quick reminder, sorry. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of the episodes. So let's get to today's story real quick here. So today's episode, what I wanted to talk about is my Spoonie story, where I pretty much became a Spoonie. Here's what happened to me. So back in I would say when I was in 11th grade, around the 11th to 12th grade, I don't remember exactly when, but this went on for 12 years. I started feeling so tired. I started feeling so tired. I started losing weight. I went from 140 pounds. I remember this. I weighed myself at the school at one point because I was doing weight training. I was weighing for 140 pounds. 2 weeks later, I was I feel so weak. I don't know why. And I couldn't really lift anymore. So I weighed myself and I was 110. And that was literally 2 weeks later. And I was there's something going on, but I didn't know what because I was eating a lot. And another thing that I noticed is that I usually, let's say, I could eat 5 to 10 tacos. But then when this happened, I could only eat 4. No, I could only eat 2, sorry. I could only eat 2 and I would get full very fast. I didn't know what. I didn't know why. I didn't know what was going on. I went to the doctor. They tested me for everything. They tested me for STDs. They tested me for drugs. I was showing my uncle the results. I'm I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. Here's the proof. Because probably he thought I was doing drugs because of the people that I was hanging out with. But I was okay, I don't do drugs. And I was judged by people, actually. My uncle will judge me in a way that he will be oh, you need to eat more. You need to take your vitamins. You need more vitamins. You need more protein. So, because obviously I didn't know what was going on. The doctors didn't know what was going on. I decided to follow his advice. So I was trying to eat more. I couldn't eat more. I was trying to eat vitamins, take my vitamins and everything. It wasn't working. I ended up having to drink Ensure, which is not bad. It's good. So I ended up having to drink Ensure, and literally I couldn't gain weight for 2 years. This is true. This is what happened. So I was feeling so weak. One of the things that happened during this time that I noticed is that before this happened, I was playing soccer, I was running, I was working out and everything, but right after it happened, I couldn't do anything like that. I was getting winded just by trying. I wasn't even running. I didn't even have to run. I was trying to run within 5 steps. I will get all winded. My whole body will start to be. My whole body will feel sore. Almost if the muscles were getting ripped out of the bone itself. It was the most painful period in my life. I was in pain. I was irritated because doctors didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. My uncle thought he knew what was going on. My mom didn't know what was going on. So I was at one point I even thought that maybe this was in my head. I was maybe this is all in my head. Because all of the tests show normal. Everything shows normal. I don't know what's going on. I can't really do anything. And the problem with this is that around this time I started working. But because I was so tired, it was hard for me to keep up. So people were complaining about me. They were making fun of me, saying oh, you're so weak. You're the weakest link, calling me names and all of this. So I was feeling bad about myself. I was feeling really bad, especially when it came from my family. I remember when we moved from a basement that we were living at to an apartment, and I couldn't really carry a lot of heavy things because I wasn't able to. I was in pain, I was sore, and everybody was mad at me because I couldn't really help. So I was hey, I don't know what's going on. My knees hurt. Everything hurts. Like, I can't really do a lot. Like, I was weak. And so people keep like literally putting names on me. They're like, "Oh, you weak, you're weak, you're weak," and I felt bad. I was like, I can't do anything, and I know that a lot of you, if you're facing, or if you know somebody that is facing something similar like fibromyalgia or autoimmune disease, or some kind of rare disorder, they feel the same way. You might feel the same way. I know it because my wife feels the same way. So when she tells me that she's in pain, I'm like, I know how it feels because I felt it. Now, this happened for 10 years. So for 10 years, I suffered a lot. So then I met my wife, and one of the reason why she forced me to go into the doctor again, I was like, I honestly didn't want to go to the doctor. I was like, I don't want to go to the doctor because they can't find anything. And she's like, no, you're going to the doctor. So we went to the doctor. The doctor, I explained her exactly what happened. Because what happened is that I almost fell asleep driving. I told my wife that, and she's like, you're going to the doctor. So I almost fell asleep. I was falling asleep at work. I was like so tired. Like, she could see it. She will be like, you're so tired. I'm like, yeah, I've been like this for a long time. And I was depressed about it. I'm not going to lie. I was depressed about it. I was really, really depressed. I was feeling so helpless because I didn't know what was going on. So my wife takes me to the doctor. The doctor asks questions. I try to answer them, and then she goes, "How do you sleep?" I'm like, "Oh, I sleep pretty good. At least I thought." And my wife interjects and says like, "Well, he snores a lot." I'm like, no, I don't. And she's like, no, you do. You're asleep, you snore. And I'm like, okay, I guess I snore. And the doctor is so like, you do snore? I'm like, I guess that's what she's saying. And finally the doctor is so like, you know what? I'm gonna do an oximeter test. You know, it's a test that they test your oxygen while you're sleeping. So they do the test. We go back to the doctor to get the results. The doctor, and this is why I made that episode on the podcast about dealing with doctors, because dealing with doctors is hard. And this is my story about it. Because here's what happened. So instead of telling us the results or the exact results of the oximeter, she's just like, oh, well, everything looks fine. Everything looks fine with the oximeter, so there might be something else going on. I'm like, okay, I don't know what. I don't know what could be going on. So she decides to put me on an antidepressant. I'm like, I don't want to take it because I'm not depressed. Even though I knew I was like, I'm not depressed. Or at least I'm not this is not the kind of depression that is going to be fixed by a pill. I kind of knew that for some reason. So she puts me on this medicine. My wife and her convinced me. I took it for 6 months. She's all like, the doctor is all like, oh, this is gonna help you because it's gonna help your brain or your body to create more serotonin, so it's gonna give you more energy. Well, I took it for 6 months. It didn't really help. So we go back to the doctor because I was still like almost falling asleep while driving. I was scared because I was like, I gotta take care of my wife. This happened like right after she became ill, or she started facing her health challenge. So I was kind of scared. I was like, I hope it's not cancer, because for the entire time that this was happening, I thought I had cancer because nobody could figure out what was going on, and one of the reasons why is that the soft tissue in my body gets swollen. So sometimes I kind of feel like I have like this little masses around my body, and I'm like, oh, it could be cancer. Well, they tested me. It's nothing. It turns out that for some reason the soft tissue in my body gets swollen depending on what I eat. And I'm going to be talking about that in another episode of the podcast, because sometimes a lot of people, or I think a lot of people, don't know that sometimes what we eat is causing our inflammation. So I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that's going to be for another episode. So anyway, they put me on this oximeter. We do everything. We go back to tell the doctor, hey, the antidepressant is not working. And here's the most messed up part. And probably you're gonna relate to this because I'm pretty sure like a lot of people that no, maybe it's not you, but maybe somebody you know has gone through something similar, where the doctor is like, well, I looked at your oximeter test results again, and I noticed that your oxygen levels are low. And the first thing that came into my mind was like, you just realized that now? I'm like, okay, what's the levels? What's the results? And she's all like, well, they're 84% or 81. And I'm like, okay, that's low because usually it has to be like 95 or over 90s, over 90s. And she's like, yeah. So she's like, okay, we're gonna send you to the sleep doctor because you're gonna have to do a sleep study to see what's going on. And I was like, okay. I felt good because I was like, okay, it's not cancer, it's nothing serious, it's something that can be fixed. So I thought. So we do the sleep study with the sleep doctor, and I get the results. So I do have sleep apnea, but the reason why I have sleep apnea is because I have a jaw malformation. So that when I lay down, that my jaw falls back, so it blocks my airways. So it stops me from breathing multiple times during the night. So when I wake up, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm not like rested, I'm in pain because the body needs oxygen to recover. So they put me on the CPAP. Oh, and when this happened, I'm not gonna go off on a big tangent or anything like that, but this is part of the story, and I think it's funny. So the doctor is explaining what's going on with my jaw. My wife is there, and she goes, "Can we fix this with a surgery?" And I'm like, "I hope not." The doctor explains to us like that type of surgery can be done, but the rate of success is like a very small percentage. So I was like, I'm not gonna do it. So they put me on this CPAP machine, and it worked. Probably took me like 3 days to see the changes, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Like I started running, and now I don't get winded like within 5 steps. I can walk longer. I can work out. I can do more things that I have ever been able to do in the last 10 years. So I felt pretty good, and that's why I wanted to share this my spoony story, because a lot of people might have something similar to what I have, or some type of blockage on their airways, and they're tired, they're suffering. They don't want to talk about it because it's like probably it's just in my head, or probably it's just the way that I sleep, you know? And you might have sleep apnea. Like, look at me. Right now, 160. I'm not heavy. Usually, and this is what the doctor told us. The sleep apnea it's because you might be heavier than what you're supposed to, but sometimes it's not. Like in my case, it's because of my jaw. It could be also because if you suffer from inflammation, it can cause your airways to be blocked due to the muscles, or your body getting inflamed or getting all swollen. So that could be another reason why you may not be able to sleep, because literally when you're not able to sleep, your body will wake up and be like you're gonna get that type of feeling like I gotta wake up to breathe, you know. So that's pretty much what happened to me. And sometimes, and this is why I got depressed during this time. Sometimes what's going to happen is that people are not going to believe you because they don't see what's going on. Like, I thought it was in my head. Like I said, my uncle was always like, oh, you need to eat more, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I tried and it didn't work because he's not a doctor. My mom was getting all upset because I was always sleeping or tired. They were just like, oh, you're just always tired. They would call me sleepy. Or not lazy, but it will translate to like the guy that is always tired. I don't remember the word right now. I just remember what it means. But I was so tired. Like, people wouldn't believe me. They're like, how can you be so tired? You're young. Oh, I hate that. You're young. And like I said, you sometimes your own family is not gonna believe you, but it doesn't matter what they believe. If you feel it, and the doctor can determine that there's something wrong with you inside in your head, that you're not making this up. Don't worry about what others say. It doesn't matter if it's your family. Like, one example that I have is that when I got this diagnosis, my wife was all like, maybe your mom has it because she says that I look like my mom. It's like, maybe your mom has the same issue on her jaw. So she decides to message my uncle, and my uncle replies with a message saying, "Oh, he just needs to meditate." When she told me that, I didn't believe it. I was like, "Okay, see, nobody is a doctor. I mean, he's not a doctor, so I'm just gonna go with the advice that the doctor gave me, which is use your CPAP," which is what I did. I use my CPAP. I use it every day. If I don't use it, I wake up the next day all hurting, all tired, all exhausted, like I never slept. So if you're facing something like this where you have to use a CPAP, I recommend it. A lot of people will say like it's not very it's not it's not comfortable. It's not about being comfortable, unfortunately in this case. It's about feeling better. Like, I don't like wearing it because it leaves marks around my face, and when I wake up, I was like, whoa, it was too tight. It's making my face gain all wrinkled, but it's like, you know what? I actually feel good. I can run, I can help my wife better, I can do all of these things. So if you're facing something that the doctors can determine what's going on, don't feel alone. I know what it's like. That's why I created a community. Don't mind my dogs. They heard somebody else outside. This is why I created a community. This is why I created a podcast, because I want to let you guys know you guys are not alone. If you know somebody that's suffering, if you're the one that's suffering, let them know, hey, you're not alone. That's why I like to share my stories, because I feel and I know that stories are powerful. Some stories can actually make you understand that you're not alone. Some stories can actually motivate you, because you might be like, how come he or she can actually get better when what she went through, what this person is going through is even worse than what I'm going through, you know? So this is why I created all of this, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I like the feedback. I like everything that I'm hearing in regards to the podcast and the blog so far. So I love you guys. I don't see you as followers. I see you as supporters, because you guys are supporting this dream, which for me is to pretty much bring in the stigma of health of invisible illnesses, which a lot of us have, and we don't even know it sometimes. So that's my story for the day, and don't forget to share, like, subscribe. You can share your story on the Facebook community, on the page. You can send it to me at the caregiver and spoony at gmail.com, and you can do it anonymously. And I leave you with this: always take care of yourself and have a great day.